Good afternoon and welcome to Master Chimney Sweep Reviews. My name is Daniel Hodgson. As you know from my previous videos, I'm a Master Chimney Sweep. Today we're going to be reviewing the Wohler Viz 400 pan and tilt camera system. Okay, it's an advanced camera system. It's not a look and go see camera. If you've read my blog, you'll see there's a big difference between the look and go see camera and a full survey camera. This is your full survey camera. It's all singing, all dancing. Okay. What do you get in the packet? That's the first thing. Let's have a look. So if Danny comes this way, we get the camera head. The camera head's an expensive bit of kit with a glass dome. It feels quality. This is substantial. It has a cage to protect the glass dome. Okay. Obviously this is for looking upwards. It's also supplied with a hanger for looking downwards, so we can hang this and look upside down. It's supplied with a connector to connect the camera head with a 10mm thread to a Viper, and it's also supplied with a UJ adapter. The UJ adapter, UJ is the British thread system. If you're using button lock rods, you're going to need your button lock rod to UJ adapter to connect A to B. Okay, the unit itself is fairly solid. In typical Wohler fashion, it comes in a leather pouch. The Germans love their leather stuff, as we know, with the Lederhosens and the shorts and the leather pouches. Okay, they're quality bits of kit. Even the head itself comes in a leather case. Okay, they like to box stuff nicely. If you look on the table here, you'll see there is a plastic inner case and a heavy flight case. Okay, the flight case is obviously useful in the van when your kid's getting bashed around. If we look here, you'll see the reel. The reel has been changed. We've got two reels on the table, one to make a comparison with. This is a new reel for the Viz 400. This is the one for the Viz 2000, which is the older model. The Viz 400 one, as you can see, is made of ABS plastic. The Viz 2000 one is steel. This unit here has been in the back of my van for about 5 years. It's been bashed around. It's not in a flight case. It still works. It's missing its attachment reel, but it works every day. It's very strong. With the ABS plastic, I don't know. I'm yet to see how it will perform in the back of a van. If we compare it to the steel one, it doesn't seem as strong, but I'm sure it's adequate. But we'll see as time will tell. Looking at the unit itself, there's also some slight modifications. There's a swivel adaptation. As you can see, we can now swivel the head to move around. This option just isn't there on the Viz 2000. The connector underneath here, if Danny brings the camera underneath, okay, the connector underneath here on both units is difficult to use. Okay, on the new unit it has 2 pins and a screw thread. The 2 pins, you kind of push the unit on, the 2 pins hold the case in place, and then you wind the screw thread into the middle. With the old unit, there was just a screw thread, like an 8mm or a 6mm brass thread, which you wound into the back of the old Viz 2000 camera. This I found really fiddly, and we never really used it. We had the unit sitting next to it most of the time. This, with gloves on, is also really fiddly, and I would ask Wohler, please make an attachment which is simply a V or a wedge shape, where we can just slide A onto B with our big gloves, to make it simple, because it's overcomplicated. Okay, if Danny comes around, we're going to have a quick look at the unit and its functions. Okay, the unit itself is a full recordable unit. Okay, so it can record stills and it can record on video. It has a time frame and a date frame which is stamped onto both your stills and your video. If we can get it nice and close there, Danny. And if we look here, we also have a meter reading. So if we use the official reel, as we move the reel out, we can see it increases in length, so we can determine where in the flue the actual camera head is, or if we're camera surveying pre-aligner installation, we know how long the liner needs to be. It gives us a nice measurement, and it also gives a recording, so we give that to the liner company. It makes life easy. We've got full pan and tilt function. Okay, so we can move the head backwards and forwards. We're in pure daylight here, so let's aim the camera head at us, so we look back at ourselves. Okay, you can see we're in full daylight. At this range, the quality isn't great. We're about 750 millimeters away, but as we move close, the camera focuses really nicely and gives a very high quality image. The closer we get, the better the definition. Okay, it's a very high quality camera when we're looking up close. It does have an automatic zoom function, so it does, not automatic zoom, sorry, automatic focus function, so it can pretty much focus on something very close, looking at the writing there, or infinity, looking at the wall in the background. But it does definitely work better up close. Okay, so it has a full 180 degree pan, and the same with the tilt. It's 90 degrees side by side, okay, which is great. If we're actually surveying the chimney, we can look at the sides of the chimney rather than looking directly upwards, where we know what we can see. When we look upwards, we can see a black hole with sunlight through the middle. We need to see the sides of the chimney. Okay, if we use the shift button on this, it takes us to the extra function. So if we use our shift, we can press the little sun button there, and it will turn extra LEDs on to give us some more light. So as you can see, it's got two LED settings on this camera head. One which is very bright, one which is not quite so bright. The very bright one, obviously, you wouldn't use inside a steel chimney which didn't have much soot in there, because you would just see reflection from the stainless steel. But if it was a black chimney, especially if it was a larger diameter one, you would love these extra LEDs. They're very bright. Nice features that I found with these cameras in the past is the glass dome. The dome itself, it doesn't really need like a windscreen wiper type thing. Okay, so we're down below with the chimney rods. To clean this, we just flick the brushes down below and the soot will fall off. This is an anti-static glass. It's very good. It's not cheap, and you can break them if you're not careful. We break maybe one a year, right? So you can break them, but if you're careful, it's unlikely. My impressions of this unit. So let's give you my first impression. I'm a very skeptical guy. I like my technical equipment, okay? For user functionality, I would give this an 8 out of 10. And the reason I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for user functionality and not a 10 is because there's no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth function. If there was a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi function, I would give this 10 out of 10 for functionality. I don't know how Wohler are with future upgrades to the products, but hopefully they're going to factor that into their next product, because I would love very much to have this unit recording onto the iPad that I'm recording this review with, or alternately I would like to be able to send my survey to the customer via their Wi-Fi at the end of the job, making life much easier, meaning that job finished at that point rather than having to go home, boot up the computer, go into my own Wi-Fi. You get it, you know, it makes life very much longer unnecessarily, and everything nowadays has Bluetooth or Wi-Fi personality, so I would expect to see that on the product of this cost, and it's not there. Having said that, I don't believe any of the camera units that are on sale at the moment that I know of have that functionality. Okay, but I would like to see it in the future. The absolute pros with this camera are the picture quality. The pictures are absolutely superb. They can't be argued with when you're looking inside a chimney. It packs away nice and neatly into a fairly contained space. It calls to an SD card. The recording function is very simple. In fact, most of the functions are simple and straightforward. The buttons on the unit itself are very large. It comes with a sunscreen. We're in full daylight now, in full sun, and actually the picture quality is still good from this camera, and the screen itself is still vivid, even though we're in full daylight. So please bear that in mind when you're looking at the pictures on the review. We're not in a chimney, we're not in a darkened room, we're in a garden in full sun. Making the comparison between the real old and new, the telescopic wire on the new version, excellent, a great idea. The swivel function, excellent. The plastic to steel, I don't know, time will tell. It could turn out that the ABS plastic is stronger and more durable. My personal view is probably not, but I don't know until X amount of years have passed. And bearing in mind this unit is expensive, it's not cheap. Other pluses are, it has a simple locking mechanism, if Fanny can look there. So the old reel, if you have one of the old Wohler 2000s, you'll know this reel keeps coming undone. It's a pain in the derriere, so you'll be in the van and the thing will unwind. On the new unit, you push the button in and it locks. Okay, you literally push in the button that you wind the reel with. Okay, things like that, excellent innovation, very simple, very straightforward, works perfectly well. On the old unit, of course, we had our meter reading etched into it. So we had looked at the reel. Each 1 meter is on the reel. Whereas the new unit, there's a magnetic measuring system. So as the reel is fed off, we've got that feedback and the recording on the screen. And it's very much desirable to have that on the screen in the recording when we send photographs to people with faults. Having that indelible mark on how high that fault is excellent, rather than going back to our notes and that type of thing. Overall, I would probably give the camera, I would give it a 9 out of 10. If it had the functionality with, as I said, the Bluetooth and perhaps a steel reel, which I'm a little concerned about, I would give it a full 10 out of 10. But when comparing to what's on the market today, it's a good bit of kit. I hope you found our review useful. If you're buying cameras in the future, please contact me, please message me. This isn't the only unit we review. We review lots of products on the market. And please like and share if you found this useful. Have a good day.